Hello, 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 everyone. It is Teresa from Teresa Silhouette Spot for all things art, where I love sharing art from my heart and helping you create a little joy in your life through some fun and easy art projects. How is everyone today? We're painting a seahorse on my blank canvas. So, we're painting a seahorse. I have my tracer. You would have a supply list, and I am going to just get started. Are you guys enjoying this whole under the sea event? I hope you are. I am. It has been fun. Let me line this baby up. I have a rip in this canvas. I don't know if you can notice it, but I hate to just toss it, so I thought it was a good idea to use it for this. So let me get my tracer on here. This is okay. Got a little piece of tape in there. I like to use what I call the hinge method. I just pop that up, slide my graphite paper under here, and pop it back down. And there we go. You can grab a pencil, a pen. I had my stylus. I don't know where it went. I think it fell. I'll use this pencil. Okay. And I am just going to trace on my seahorse. Got to get his fin in here. So because of this under the sea theme, guess what song has been in my head since we started? You know it. You know it. So I will try not to sing for y'all. I don't think you guys want me singing. I certainly know Facebook doesn't want me singing. And you can see my lines are not perfect, but I'm not even going to worry about that. It's okay if you go a little bit askew. Now I'm going to lift up and I'm going to see, oh, I got his little eye. And I'm just going to put a dot where I want the eye. I'm not going to do the whole circle. This way it's basically where I need it, but we're good to go. I'm going to lift up this side, make sure I got everything, and I do. And I'm going to pull this off. Put my graphite paper and my tracer to the side. So I have out my, paint palette here. I have some neon purple, any purple will do. I have some ink spot, it's a very, very deep blue. Lime green, black, white, and then patina. Love that patina. You could, if you were so inclined, paint your background first and then come in and trace on your seahorse. You could even cut your seahorse out and then trace around it. It's totally up to you. You can do it with chalk if you want, because then you don't have to worry about your pencil lines. But I'm going to show you. We're going to cover up our pencil lines and they're not going to be an issue at all. Let me get out a little bit more of this blue. Okay, and we will get started. So, I am doing just, I guess, like not a heavy coat. We want to have the illusion of water in the background here. So we don't have to have perfect coverage. White is a color too, and I have white obviously on my canvas. I don't want to pick up white, and I'll tell you why. I don't want to create light blue. I like the white, and I like the dark ink spot that I'm using, but we don't really want to create a light blue. If I wanted to, I could go back later and add white over the blue, but I don't think I need to do that. I am just going to cover with the blue, but it does not have to be exact, because if we have some white peeking through, that's okay. What I do think is important for this painting is to have all your lines going the same way. So whether or not you're painting your background horizontal or vertical, do it all the same way. So if you started out going this way, continue going that way. And I'm just picking up a little blue. I'm getting as close to my seahorse as possible. I don't really care if I get any on my seahorse because this is acrylic paint, and if you're patient enough and wait long enough for things to dry. You can fix anything. And so if I get some on my Seahorse, I'm not really worried about that because I can just go over it with whatever color I need in that spot. So I don't really worry about that. And I'm not having perfect coverage. I want some white peeking out. I have areas that are darker, areas that are lighter. And I am also going to, I think I'm going to do my edges too as well. So when you're going around, obviously it's a little harder to keep your lines going vertically or horizontally, whichever it is, but do the best you can. When we're working with an object that's rounded and you want to get in and out of the nooks and crannies, I understand it can be a little bit hard. But once you like get your coverage in there, then you can go right back over your brush strokes. Oh, my thing is tapping. And fix them so they are in fact going horizontal or vertical, whichever way you were painting them. I just want to use a little bit, go around the nose here. That's an important part of our Seahorse, so everyone knows it's a Seahorse. So I want to just be so careful in here. I'm going to get a smaller brush to do in and around the tail in a second. See, so I am following the curve, but then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pull out my strokes horizontally. I don't mind that there's white showing. That's totally okay. We want our background a little random. And I'm going in, I'm picking up some of this blue here. And I'm just doing my edges. Sometimes I do my edges to match. Sometimes I skip my edges. Sometimes I do my edges a totally different color, so it kind of like stands out because you will get a little bit on the front of your canvas. And then sometimes I just like to be fun and do like a fancy whimsy design, maybe with some dots or stripes or whatever. So, okay, we got that there. Now I'm going to go into my, and this is neon purple, but you can use whatever you want. And I'm just going to start adding in some of this neon purple. I'm not going to cover the whole thing. And the same with the blue. I want some areas with my neon purple to be heavy and some not so much. Some of my blue is still wet, so it'll blend. And some of it will just sit on top because it's dry. Get out a little bit more. Oops. Ooh. Oh, I didn't go inside my tail. Let me get a smaller brush and go inside my tail. In here it'll be a little bit harder to keep on the horizontal strokes. But again, once you get coverage, do the best you can to have all your strokes going the same way. Okay, and while I have this little brush, I'm going to pick up some of the purple and just lay it in here. I'm kind of making like a little bit of a shadow. You won't really see that from what everything else we're going to add, but I'm just making a little bit of some shadow with the purple all around my Seahorse here. I'm pulling out to the side. Okay, let me go back to my bigger brush here. Yeah, I love these neon colors. They're they're not for all the time. Neon colors, I use very sparsely and occasionally. You really need the right design, the right project for neon colors, and this Under the Sea one is perfect for this neon color. Sometimes they're a little bit strong, but if you use them sparingly and on the right designs, they can be gorgeous. Another thing about these neon colors, they don't really give complete full coverage. So I wouldn't really base coat anything with the neon unless I knew I was going to give it multiple coats and I really, really needed the neon underneath. Look how pretty that looks on the side. We're having all these variations of the purple where the blue didn't cover the white. It's really purple. And then on top of the blue, it's just a little bit different. I'm loving this. Okay. Oops. Like I said, you can do whatever you want on your edges. You can leave them, you can paint them, you can make them colorful, whimsy, whatever you want. I'm taking my purple brush and I'm just wiping it around the sides. So I'm kind of framing out my design. It's very subtle. It's not too dark. It's just a little nice shimmer. I can see it, and there we go. Okay, so let's wash that brush. Let me go get a little brush. I'm using flat brushes and a liner brush. I'm going to use my little, I think this is about a 1/4 inch wide. The numbers on brushes, if you buy your brushes from Plaid or Deco Art or Artist Loft, they are not uniform brush sizes. So what is a number 6 or number 8 in one from one manufacturer is not necessarily a 6 or an 8 from another manufacturer. So this is about, it's a flat brush and it's about a 1/4 inch wide. Okay. So I'm going to pick up some green, and then I want to come in here and I want to pick up some white on the edge. So I have mostly green on my brush, but then I pick up a little bit of white on the corner. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to do the face. Pick up a little bit more green, pick up a little bit more white. I want to have a really nice white edge here. There we go. Yes, I have to do his face. All right, then I'm going to do it again. Got a little bit something in there. And I'm going to go to his back fin, tail fin, whatever you want to call it. And again, I want the white part to be to the outside. And I'm just following the curve that we drew on here when we copied our tracer. It's important to have these flares and these points out, okay? So, now I'm just gonna fill this in a little bit. Pick up a little bit patina on my brush, on my dirty brush, and I'm going to add in a little patina with the mint, with the lime green in here, so we have different variations of color. There we go. And I'm not even going to wash my brush now. I'm going to go and I'm going to make some room here. I'm going to pick up some now patina on my dirty brush. And the same thing I did, I'm going to get some white here. So now I have all three colors, this patina and this white on my brush. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to start filling in the rest of his body. I want the lighter color to the outside, the white. I'm going to come around here for his belly. And I want to follow the curve of his body. So I'm coming around, it's almost like an S shape. And I have all the colors on my brush. I'm picking up more patina, more white, and again I'm following the line. And it's multiple layers if you want to get all the colors. You don't want to overblend. And you want to be able to see all the variations. So I continue to pick up white and patina, and I have enough green on my brush at this point, since I'm using the dirty brush, that I don't have to worry about picking up more green. I think I have plenty of green in here, and I want most of it to be the patina color. So when I'm using the same brush, but when I want to come in here for his tail, I'm using it standing up on the chisel edge, and then when I'm getting wider, I'm using it on the flat. And again, this is why I said it doesn't matter if you get a little bit on your design when you're doing the background, because once you come in here, you clean up all those edges when you paint in your element, which in this case is our seahorse. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of green now and more white. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to do the second layer of his, I guess, gills, face, head, I don't know. I guess I should have studied up on a little bit more of my seahorse biology. Okay, so see, we have the two layers. I don't know if you guys can see that. A little bit of a glare. We have the two layers. We have all the patina going in here, and then we have the green in here for his tail. Okay. All right, I'm going to wash this for now. And I'm going to get my liner brush. Okay, I can see my lines in here. I don't know if you can. I'm going to put up, I need a little bit of water. You want your liner, when you're using your liner brush, you want your paint to be a little bit thin. Not too thin that it's like running off the brush, but a little bit thin. So I will just dip the end of my brush in some water and come in here and mix it. Now this is mostly white. I had a little bit of green in it when I was dipping into it, but we want white. It doesn't have to be really, really fresh white, but we want it to be mostly white. So I'm going to come in here, and you can see my points. I am going to bring a line down, curving and following his body with every one of these points. Okay, all the way to the bottom. We have another one here. Even though they're curving, You want them somewhat parallel to one another. See that? And I'm going to do the same thing here. So with these points, I am going to make vertical lines on a diagonal going into the body from the tail. Okay. And while I'm in my white, I am going to get a little bit of fresh white over here. I'm going to dip the back of my brush in it, and I'm going to give him his eye so it has a little bit of time to dry there. Okay. Now I'm going to continue with my white. And I am going to, and this is, if you guys have ever, oh, got a little piece of something on there. If you guys have ever done spider webs, that's how these go. So you want to do a little dip. Okay. And then another little dip. So I'm going across, but they have a little bit of a dip in them. They're not straight lines. I'm using a very light touch with my liner brush. I want them to follow the curve. So now I'm coming down on a diagonal. I'm moving with his body. I'm not just going straight across. Seahorses are pretty incredible. I used to always love seahorses. I live on Long Island. I grew up on the Long Island Sound, which is a huge body of water between Long Island and Connecticut. And I would say probably at least 3 times in my young life, I came across a seahorse floating around, swimming around in the water. It was really cool. Okay, so I'm doing these dips until I get to this one line, and now I'm just going to do a little bit of stripe there. And then we're going to do the same thing. I need a little bit of water again. Twirling in my liner brush to get it to a nice point. And we're going to do the same thing here. Following the shape and the arch and the points of the tail this time. And there we go. What do you guys think so far? Cool, right? Okay. While we are with our white, I'm going to come over here and I want to add a little bit of highlight around this side. Again, I'm using a little bit of dirty white. It's not complete white, but it's pretty good. It's good enough. If you had fresh white, that's okay too. And I'm going to come around here. And I just want to then bring it in. Don't have to go all the way around. I just want to bring it in there. Okay. I'll rinse my brush. And I'm going to get some fresh black. Thank you, everyone. Get some fresh black. I'm rolling it in again. And this time I'm going to come in here. And the inner part of our seahorse is going to get a little bit of shading. There we go. Okay. Do his head. And then I'm just bringing in the black, kind of mix it up a little bit. And wash that again. I'm gonna fix his nose. There we go. Okay. Now I have a dauber. You can use a dauber, you can use the back of your brush, you can use Q-tips, whatever you want. And I'm gonna pick up some patina, I'm gonna pick up some white, I'm going to put a little bit of pressure, and I'm gonna use my dauber like bubbles. Pick up a little bit of the green here. And just dab around with some patina and some of this lime green. And you can do as many or as few as you want. I'm going to go back to my white. Get a little bit of white again. And I'm going to put a little bit of highlight in each of my bubbles. So if you don't want to be doing all these highlights, don't put so many bubbles. And they're all different thicknesses or darknesses, and I'm just putting these little comma strokes or apostrophes, little bit of highlight into each bubble. We just want them to pop a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my little brush. I move around a lot because it is more efficient. So I'm waiting for one section to dry. I can be working on a different section and vice versa. So I have a little bit of this gel here. I don't know if you can see it. It's clear. It is, oh no, it's not called textile medium. It is called floating medium. And it helps if you want to have your color be a little translucent. It's totally clear. You can't even hardly see it on the plate. If you want some of your paint to be a little translucent, so you can see through it, and you don't want to have too stark of a color, and you want to add in some little details, I'm going to show you how I do it. So I load my brush up with this, what's called floating medium, and then I just put a corner in the color that I want. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to lay my brush down, and I'm going to make 1, 2, oh, need a little bit more paint, a little bit, tiny bit of paint, 2, just to have some gills in there. Okay, then I'm going to pick up a little bit more. Too much, too much, too much, too much. And I'm going to just put a little bit of shading in here where his back fin meets his body. The floating medium helps my brush move, and then I just get a little bit of shade in there. Not too much, you just want to see it. And again, the same thing with the gills. Not too much. I think I want another one. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, back to my liner brush. Now this is going to be fun too. So I'm going to take my liner brush. I want to make sure I have my white nice and thin. Not too thin, like I said, if you hold your brush up, you don't want the paint to drip off, okay? That'll ruin your painting. You want it to still stay on your brush, but you want it to be a little bit thinner than paint you would say to like paint the background or other things, okay? And I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna start lightly flicking in these little wisps, just to add, and I'm going to pick up some green, just to add a little bit of detail, decoration to this beautiful creature. I have the white, I have the green. I'm doing a very, very light touch. And I'm just pulling out these little wisps. All around. I'm going to get a little bit smaller as I come around. I'm still going in both directions. I'm just getting a little bit tiny, and then I'm just going to poke some on there just so it looks like I had some at the very end. And then I'm going to go back to my green, and I want to add these little, they're like teardrops. I'm using my liner brush. I'm dipping it in this lime green, and I'm just adding these little tiny oval, elongated teardrops, at the end of each one of these little spiky hairs I put on. It's just basically a little dab and a pull. And I'll let you guys know that when I'm not talking, yes, Under the Sea is still playing over and over in my head. When it's my turn to host a theme month, I'm going to have to come up with something with a catchy tune too, I think. What do you think? And then I'm just lightly just using the tip and adding some, and we want them to fade out just like they did, just like the wispy hairs did as well. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white on my dirty brush, and I want to add in here some more highlight. Now I think in some spots the black is a little too harsh, so I am just lightening it up with a little white. I'm not taking up the whole black, I'm just adding a little bit of white to it. I'm going to wash my brush. Then I'm going to again dip the end of my brush in some paint, and now I want to add a little dot for his eye. See what a difference that makes? I did the larger white circle at the beginning, let it dry, and now I went back in with a smaller black circle. And I want to do a little bit here at the end of his nose too. There we go. Okay, and I think, oh, you know what I need? I want a little bit of black up in here too. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just adds a little bit of something and really makes these elements pop. So I did a little bit of white and a little bit of black. And there we have it. So, thank you guys. Here's our really cool seahorse. I hope you're enjoying the whole month of Under the Sun painting. Enjoy the rest of the painters. I think there's 9 or 11 of us this whole month. So enjoy, and I hope you're singing under the sea like me. Have a great day, everyone.